Going on, SMT Nation? It's your boy, the SMT. Today we're going to do a video on 3G. This is probably going to affect a fair number of people out there. I know I have a lot of viewers and subscribers that reside in rural America, and even for some that maybe not even rural America, maybe you're using devices that are possibly 3G only. Could be connected devices, could be, flip phones and so on. So if that's the case, this is going to be important information for you. It affects Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile customers, all the major 3 national providers. So stay tuned. We're going to go over everything you need to know about the 3G shutdown moving forward from all national wireless carriers. Now, this video was inspired by Mike Dano, writer and contributor over at lightreading.com. So I do want to give him credit for this. That's where I got this table, this image, and I do want to discuss the topic. So the 3G shutdown, whether it's going to be from the CDMA side, like in the case of Verizon and elements of the Sprint network, and then the GSM side, which is more of an AT&T and T-Mobile thing, that legacy technology is on its way out. In the case of the carriers, it's pretty much already started phase 1, which is no more 3G activations. So 3G had a good run. It was like 20 plus years of utilization. It was great during its time, but the data demands of our current usage and the evolution of wireless, consumer wireless, things have really changed. So we're seeing the sunset on 3G technology. So reminder to all wireless customers to prepare for the decommission process that is being completed by all carriers. Let's start first with the Verizon side of things. We have, it was initially actually supposed to be done sooner, but there was a delay to the end of 2020. So that's very, very close. About 99% of, Big Red's data traffic is already completed over LTE. Some locations in rural America are still on legacy technology that is actively being addressed through the end of the year. A lot of those sites that are 3G only are going to be receiving LTE upgrades. It's in some form or fashion. So in most cases, they'll be receiving band 5 and band 13. Kind of depends on the holdings that Verizon has in those places, because remember, things can be very market dependent and market to market. And then areas that require the support, they'll probably also receive band 2 and band 66 if the capacity is required. Some connected devices will need replacement. I could see a situation where a lot of flip phones, people with older legacy tech, they're just going to have to replace them. Contact Verizon and see if there's something they could do for you in the cost of a device. They may be able to break you off a piece and give you a discount or offer you some kind of incentive to get switched sooner rather than later. In terms of the active refarm, it is in progress. We're going to be seeing their 800 megahertz and 1900 megahertz spectrum holdings being decommed and then recommissioned for use in LTE and or 5G. For those of you unaware, Verizon will continue to operate certain elements of their legacy tech like BC0, which is 800 megahertz, BC1 for 1900 megahertz, PCS. I think those will continue to be supported for call, whether it's like 1X or 2G. Kind of depends on the location. They're not shutting it down completely, but they're definitely going to be minimized. And then in that situation, it'll just be for calling. And that's, obviously, like you think of first responders, more extended areas, they'll continue to operate small amounts of spectrum in that way. Let's kind of pivot over to AT&T. Early 2022 is their timing. They've already, kind of indicated this. They've already put out press releases and emails to customers and things like that, notifications. So most traffic, again, is also LTE, but there also is 5G now as well. In that situation, many rural communities rely on the 3G and HSPA situation. A lot of extended areas with connected devices. FirstNet band 14, the FirstNet contract 700 megahertz. That's going to change a lot of this as this part of the network builds out and it completes the completion process of building out probably around that 99% mark of national coverage across the U.S. We'll see that 3G refarm hit full swing. And that's their 1900 megahertz band 2 PCS, 850 megahertz for GSM. We'll see a lot of that again being refarmed. So it may go to LTE, it may go to 5G. And DSS is going to be a big piece of what Verizon and AT&T do moving forward in the very near future, like through the end of this year, going into the beginning of next year. And last but not least, the T-Mobile company, no official date on their process of getting rid of 3G, although we do know that they have already begun to kind of they're not doing any activations on non-voice over LTE devices, so that's an indication of they're approaching this task. Sprint's got the 800 megahertz and 1900 megahertz that they're utilizing in old legacy tech. They'll be giving up band 26 800 megahertz to Dish in the merger concessions. They'll probably refarm the 1900 megahertz band 2 to LTE and 5G. And then in the case of T-Mobile's holdings that they've had, 1900 megahertz, 1700 megahertz, and 21 megahertz, they'll probably refarm to band 2 and band 4, band 66 for LTE until they decide they want to do DSS in the future. They'll probably do that for 5G and LTE usage. The focus is and should be band 71 for range and coverage for T-Mobile. They utilize, band 71 for LTE and also N71 for 5G. And then for 2.5 gigahertz, which they got from the Sprint merger/acquisition, the 2.5 gigahertz is all about capacity. They've already started to kind of backtrack and push back towards LTE, but the goal is to end up eventually having it all for N41, which is 5G. This situation is obviously more fluid and ever-changing. In the case of T-Mobile, it's probably going to be the most painful and complicated of the national three providers. In the case of T-Mobile, the way it looks on the outside, they appear to be the most, I should say the least organized or the most random, and they have the most erratic and engineering visions, I think, because one, it's very complicated in what they've experienced with the merger, but I also think that they try something, they see that it's not going to work, so they have to pivot. And again, mergers make things complicated. So that's what's going on with the Band 3 decommission. Like I said, for those of you out there that have 3G, phones, 3G connected devices, the sun is setting on those legacy technologies, and you really do have to start making plans for this. Hopefully this video is something that finds you and helps you in preparing and making those moves. Reach out to your carriers, see if they can cut you a deal, give you a discount on new devices, and get you set up moving forward in the future, because this is going to be happening sooner rather than later. And that's pretty much it for this one. Go ahead and comment below in the comment section your thoughts and opinions on this. Who do you think is going to have the easiest time doing this refarm process and decom process? Who do you think is going to struggle the most? Who do you think is going to do it the best? Who do you think is going to fail at it and have to backtrack and try different things? I'd love to hear the pulse of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard. Thank you all for taking this opportunity to watch the SMT YouTube channel. If you appreciated this video and found it informative, please do rate this video, give it a thumbs up, share it to all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new, first time here, consider subscribing, activate that bell notification icon so you never miss an upload from the SMT. And do check out some of the links in the description box. There's ways to donate. We have the link to the SMT Patreon page, the Twitter handle at SneedTech, where we also do Periscope Lives. And here are some other videos that I did hand select for you all to check out if you're not ready to leave the SMT YouTube channel just yet. Anyways, again, thank you for being here to watch. I am the SMT. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.